Hey there. Today we're going to look at recording a screencast. We're going to do that with a piece of software called Open Broadcaster software. What we want to do is come to the website obsproject.com and download the new OBS multi-platform. You want to download it for your operating system. So that's most likely either going to be Windows or OS X. So go ahead and click on the one that works with your computer. And once we get that downloaded, you want to go ahead and install it. Once it's installed, go ahead and open it up and we'll move on to the next step. Once it's opened up, you're going to be presented with a screen that looks like this. And there's a few things we need to do to get it set up before we get going and start recording our first screencast. We want to go ahead and do just a couple of things. Let's click on Settings first. We're going to go down through these options here. First thing you want to do is go ahead and click on Output. And we can leave it set on Simple, but what we're going to do is come down here to the recording options, and where it says Recording Quality, we want to switch it from same as stream to high quality, and then we want to switch recording format from FLV to MP4, and then we want to pick a place for the movies to be saved when we're done with them. So you can go ahead and browse and have that send the file that this will generate to your desktop or to your My Documents folder, wherever you know you'll be able to find it later. I'm just going to leave it set the way it is right now and move on to audio. Now what you want to do here, if you're recording with your webcam, is most likely switch this channel setting to mono. It'll make the file size smaller and we won't have to worry about messing with more than one channel of audio. Now if you have a webcam that records into two separate mics, you want to leave that set to stereo. But we'll go ahead and do that, and then up here under Mic Auxiliary Audio Device, usually default will work just fine, but if you know you want to record with your webcam, or if you want to record audio with a separate microphone that you have attached, it should pop up in this menu right here, and you can go ahead and select that. And then we'll go ahead and click on Apply, and then OK. And now what we're going to do is add in a couple of things to our Sources menu. The first thing that we're going to add is the display capture, and that's what's going to let us capture everything that's on our desktop. Now you can do this same thing with window capture and have it only capture the PowerPoint window, but that's a little trickier, but feel free to look at doing that if you'd rather not capture everything that's on your desktop. But the desktop capture is going to work just fine for us, so we're going to go ahead and select display capture. And these settings are fine. We can just leave it set up that way, or we can change this to say monitor. And then click on OK. And you can see it detects our monitor because I only have one plugged in. But if you had more than one, you could pick which one you wanted to show from this display menu. And then of course if you wanted to set a crop, you could. But since we're going to go full screen with our PowerPoint here, we're not going to set a crop. We're just going to leave it set to none, and we're going to make sure that this Show Cursor box is checked, just in case we want to move the cursor around and highlight something. So now we can click on OK, and then we're going to add in our webcam. So we're going to come back under the Sources menu, click on the plus again, and then come down to Video Capture Device. And we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to rename this webcam, and click on OK. And then I'm going to make sure that it selects my webcam. And it's fine to just leave it set to the preset This is set to use the highest resolution it can get from the webcam, which is what we want. And then we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And see, by default it puts us in the upper left hand corner here. You can move this wherever you'd like, and you can grab the edges here. And once you've grabbed them, you can resize this window and shrink it down. And that's handy if you have a PowerPoint that has text or a lot of things that go on up on this side of the PowerPoint. And of course, if that's you and you know it ahead of time, you can always move this somewhere else on the screen, and it really doesn't matter where you put it, just as long as it's not too much in the way of the content that you have in your PowerPoint. So I'm going to go ahead and resize this to a decent size that's still big enough that people can see me. And then once it's done, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to come up here under the mixer settings, click on this gear that's underneath the 0.0 dB, and click on that. Go to properties and make certain that the microphone that I want, which is the one that's built into the webcam, is selected. And I'm going to click OK. We're just double checking here to make certain that we're getting audio recorded. And now what I'm going to do is click on Start Recording, because once we do that, we want to go ahead and minimize this, come over to our PowerPoint, put it into presentation mode, and go ahead and start running through the presentation that we're going to use today. And once we go ahead and get to the end, I'll show you what we're going to do to save the PowerPoint. So now we can go ahead and close this PowerPoint and come back to our Open Broadcaster software. Now we're going to click on Stop Recording, and it will have just put out our movie file into the directory that we selected when we were in Settings. So for me, I'm going to go to Finder, and then I'm going to go to Movies, and it looks like this is it. So now I have this file that I can upload either to YouTube, or you can go ahead and put these files in the Dropbox associated with our project. And we'll go ahead and take out any of the pauses and the beginning and the end of this.